Hi, welcome to day 15 of the 30 days video challenge about remote working. Today we're talking about how to organize and manage virtual workshops or virtual retreats. We're in that season when organizations start to plan for next year. This is where they also plan to have a annual management retreat where they get to discuss challenges and problems that the organization are facing and also to planning for the coming year. We're not sure how some organizations plan to do this year retreat. Some will probably do a retreat physically now that we have the easing of the lockdown. And in some cases, some people will not because in some countries, social distancing and the pandemic is still biting very hard. Whichever decision you take, if you ever choose to do a virtual retreat, here are a couple of things that you need to take note of whilst planning. There are 10 things I want to share with you today. The first one is that you need to have an agenda. That seems natural, right? Because you need to be able to decide exactly what are the goals you want to go and achieve at this retreat. Number two is that you need to set out the duration for the retreat, how long it will take. And it's difficult for you to sit for a long time. So the kind of retreats where you usually have where they used to be 8 hours may not be conducive for a virtual environment. People will end up with back pain. People may end up being bored. So when you're planning, you need to space the time. You need to make room for convenience break, coffee break, whatever kind of break. You need to spice it up, right? Which brings me to item 3, which is icebreakers. Look, we're no longer in a physical environment where we used to have a lot of fun activities, things we did in a group. But that shouldn't let that stop us. We should try to find clever and interesting things that we can do when it comes to icebreakers. So watch out for my next videos about icebreakers. I have a couple of ideas of things I want to share. The other thing you need to do is you need to be very intentional about the tools that you use for running your retreat. I know a lot of people keep talking about Zoom, but Zoom is not the only tool out there that you can use to have your video conferencing session for your retreat. There are tools like Google Meet, you have Microsoft Teams, also too that you can use to have those video conferencing. To be honest with you, if your internet quality is good wherever you are and you have enough bandwidth, I would say use Microsoft Teams. The reason is because all the collaboration you're going to do whilst on this retreat can all be done in a single place. But where you choose to do a hybrid case, you can combine Zoom and Microsoft Teams. Let me share a personal story with you. Just if in August this year, we had our first online summer boot camp for children between the age of 8 and teenagers to 19, right? And it will interest you to know that we actually use 2 tools, in fact 3 actually, to be able to run those 2 events covering 73 children in 2 tracks. We used Zoom for our video conferencing and we used Microsoft Teams to administer assignments and to do networking and chat related functions. These are things that are not very cool when it comes to you doing them on Zoom. So what I'm saying is that for a business that is even more serious, you should look for a tool that is all encompassing that will be able to capture all the things that you are doing. Yeah, so if you've already made investment in Slack, then no problem. You can use a combination of Slack and Zoom, or even use Slack because they also have video conferencing within their tool application as well. Before you go for this retreat, whatever pre-work you need them to do, please ensure that those pre-works are done and they are done in a central repository, like back again to Microsoft Teams or on the Google platform, whichever of the platform you use. Number 6 is you need to decide in advance or on the spot how you're going to handle breakout sessions, right? Because there will be breakout sessions where you need a group of people to brainstorm, to sit together and discuss things that are important to the organization. So when we talk about breakout teams, you can either pre-select and decide which groups that you want, so that if you're on Zoom, you can decide how those groups will be arranged, or you can do so when you're having this session. The other thing you also need to think of is time, right? Time is a very expensive commodity. There has to be a way in which you can manage time. So my first advice is that once you're running a retreat, immediately assign somebody or a group of people to be in charge of timing so that people can stick to the point when speaking, or ensure that the program don't overrun. You need a time watch or a stopwatch, and there are many applications online where you can actually screen time when you're asking people to work within a time limit. So yes, stick to the time. Item 8 is brainstorming. So you need to have sticker notes. You have sticker notes on your PC and everything, but I'm sure there are better tools you can use to do this. And if there's anyone in your team that knows how to mind map, when you are talking and you're putting out ideas, you should be taking advantage of a whiteboard where you can draw, you can sketch. You can also do group annotation on a whiteboard on screen when you're using Zoom. Same for other applications as well. You also have a whiteboard app on your Windows 10. You can use that. You can project. So when you're talking, and as people are putting out ideas, you can be writing them on the screen and people can see. And if they disagree, they get to talk about it. Number 10 is that remember to have fun, right? Yes, retreats are serious stuff, but look, we're in very strange times. Try and have some fun. Try and laugh, do some banter, start with an icebreaker, enjoy yourself. There are many more ideas I have to share regarding how to run a virtual boot camp, or how to run a